Yes, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to GAA Fan TV. This is the channel that keeps you up to date with everything that is happening in both Gaelic football and hurling. And ladies and gentlemen, we are here for this weekend's All-Ireland hurling semi-finals. This is the preview ahead of both of those games, and yeah, I have to say I'm very excited for these two matches, guys. I mean, you know, we have seen some very interesting games in the hurling championship this year. We've seen some surprises, we've seen some shocks, we've seen some teams that have not quite delivered, but we've also seen a number of teams that certainly have. And in this final four, you know, you have two games that are very hard to call, in my opinion. I mean, it's very hard to split these teams. But of course, guys, before we jump straight into it, do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this out to your friends and family. I would really appreciate it. But we will go ahead and start off by talking a bit about Wexford versus Tipperary. This is a huge game for both of these two counties, of course. And you know, Wexford, I mean, their first Leinster Championship in 15 years, obviously inspired by the great Davy Fitzgerald. I mean, what a job he has done since taking over as Wexford manager, you know, taking them from Division 1B all the way to Division 1, and of course now guiding them to that first Leinster title. A huge step that would be for Wexford, because of course, you know, that gives them the confidence and the belief, having won the Leinster Championship, that they can actually, you know, cause another surprise and who knows, maybe go all the way and win the All-Ireland. And we certainly know that a manager like Davy Fitzgerald, he won't let this team settle with just the Leinster Championship. He's going to make sure this team keep fighting, keep going till the very end. And you know, certainly some of their standout players so far this year, Rory O'Connor was absolutely outstanding in that game versus Kilkenny. He really took it by the scruff of his neck. And of course, Lee Chin as well has been very impressive. He certainly got better as the year has gone on. But one thing that has highly impressed me so far with Wexford this year has been defensively. You know, I think they've done a really good job of restricting teams from goal opportunities. I think it's very much how they're set up in many ways, and they are very good, you know, at picking teams off at the other end as well. Paul Morris has been great. Conor McDonald, of course, stepped in brilliantly in that game versus Kilkenny with 4 points. So, you know, I think you really have to look at Wexford and see that they are certainly a county that is moving in the right direction, and they will certainly have a lot of belief going into this Tipperary game. But of course, Tipperary, you know, they're certainly not going to be an easy team to beat. I mean, they are favourites going into this game, according to the bookies. And I suppose if you look at their overall championship campaign, you know, other than that Munster final, they've hardly set a foot wrong. You know, they won all 4 games very comfortably. They've had some outstanding players this year. You know, the likes of John McGrath has been absolutely outstanding. Jason Ford has stood out on a number of occasions. And of course, Patrick Maher as well. But of course, Patrick Maher, as we know, is injured and he will be out for the rest of the season. So that is a huge miss, and you can tell Tipperary definitely missed them in that game versus Limerick, and even to a certain extent in their most recent victory over Laois. But of course, Liam Sheedy has definitely got you know, the most out of this Tipperary team. You know, let's not forget they didn't even make it past the Munster stage in last year. I think they finished bottom of their group in the 2018 All-Ireland series. So you know, huge progress has certainly been made. I think that defeat to Limerick will definitely concern Liam Sheedy in many ways. You know, they certainly were going into that game as favourites, and to lose by 12 points was quite a significant margin. Certainly room for improvements. They weren't exactly excellent versus Laois, but I think Laois gave them a very good game and are a lot better than people had have expected. In terms of this game, I really can't call it. I think it's going to be really close. It could go down to, you know, who has better discipline in terms of giving away frees. And it could be, you know, in terms of quality, I feel like Tipperary are the better team, but in terms of belief, attitude, and in terms of just having the better form, I feel like Wexford in that regards. But in terms of quality, it's very hard to split these as well. So I've got a sneaky feeling, to be honest, I've got a sneaky feeling Wexford might edge it, you know. I'm not too sure why, but I just do. Tipperary, for me, are the better side. To be honest, I think I'm going to go with a draw. I really cannot split these two counties at all going into this game. I really can't. Of course, the other game, Limerick will be facing Kilkenny. I feel like the All-Ireland winner is going to come from this game, in my opinion. Kilkenny have surprised me massively this year as well. They're a team that honestly just never seems to give up. It looked like for a long time they were relying on TJ Reid throughout this championship. They were hitting balls long into him, relying a lot on that. But what they've actually done at times this year is they've brought in other players, Billy Ryan, Connor Brown, Adrian Mullen as well. And they've been able to, bring new players into the team, and they've really helped Kilkenny this year and helped kind of prosper them possibly onto bigger things. And that victory over Cork, I thought, was really impressive. The way they fought back in that second half and just dominated the game was really impressive in many ways. Kilkenny built up a huge lead, against Cork going into 10 to 15 minutes in the second half. So, been very impressed with Kilkenny. But of course, Limerick, you certainly cannot take anything away from this Limerick side, because obviously All-Ireland champions last year, National League champions, and of course now Munster champions. So this Limerick team just seems to know how to win the big games. They seem to know how to show up when it matters. They're always improving as well. They're quite a young team, but they seem to be always getting better. Aaron Gillan has been probably one of the standout players for Limerick in the past year. You're looking at Geroid Hegarty. I was very impressed with him throughout the Munster Championship. Dan Morrissey, Tom Morrissey, of course, as well. You've got players like Shane Dowling that can come off the bench. So you've just got an array of talent in this Limerick team. And one thing I've noticed quite a bit from watching Kilkenny at times this season has been the fact that they've been quite slow starters at times this year. Cork had a really big opportunity to really beat Kilkenny quite early on. They had a number of chances in that game when they played Kilkenny, and they could have easily been out of sight had they have taken some of the various goal opportunities and had some better passes in scoring chances. So Limerick, if they can start really well and they can take their goal opportunities and take their chances, I do think that Kilkenny will be beaten. But you can never count out Brian Cody and this Kilkenny side, because they just never give up. They're always there to the final whistle. But I do just have a sneaky feeling that Limerick will just have a bit too much for them. Limerick have beaten Kilkenny already in the league this year, and they beat them in the championship last year as well. So I do feel like Limerick do have Kilkenny's number at the moment. And I do think Limerick will see off Kilkenny by 3 points. But of course, guys, do let me know down in the comments below what you think. I think it's going to be two very good matches. It's going to be very hard to call. It wouldn't surprise me, what happened, to be honest. I think one thing that would surprise me is if one team absolutely hammered the other. I couldn't quite see that happening, but I do think that these two games will be very exciting, very close, and very good to watch, of course. So guys, so I am gonna go ahead and end this video here. Do leave your comments down below what you think will happen, and yeah, lads, I will catch you all next time.